Morning. Where'd you go? Hmm. You there? Can you hear me? Can you not hear me? Can't see your camera. Eh. Anne calls that my crown. Can you not hear me? You're on mute, I think. Shell is connected to audio. Why can't I hear you? No, it's my fault. Let's see. Talk now. No. Shit.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Hey, okay, cool. Sorry, I don't know. I'm still testing my speakers down here. I'm
No,
gonna-
I am too. We're still.
Okay, cool.
I wanted to see if headphones.
Okay, give it a
My
shot.
husband said he swears by the headphones. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
You know, that'll probably not give us kickback. I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Can you, maybe I should put my earbuds in?
No, you sound great.
Okay, cool. I have microphone.
Hi, how are you? I don't have any
Hi, I'm
makeup
good.
on.
How's it going?
I'm getting my hair better, but I
No, don't
didn't have
even
makeup on.
sweat it. You have a busy morning and stuff. Because I just kind of rolled out of bed. I was playing with just some stuff. Got on TikTok.
Good. Do you not have any people at your house?
No, no, just no, everyone's gone. My
Okay.
husband, he works from here. Yeah, no, everyone, and you know her.
Yeah.
No, but that's good. No, I'm tired. It's been a lot. It's good, but it's good. But it's like, it was her birthday yesterday. We went out to dinner last night. We went to dinner the night before. I came home, my poor dog had like some tremors she gets sometimes. It's a bulldog thing. Kind of threw me. And, but other than that, I mean, I can't say that, I'm working with the chaos. I'm just organized, we're just doing it bird by bird, buddy, bird by bird. Day by day. There's a cute story that I'll tell you. I told Dan one time. I read this meme or something, and it just really like got me. This guy, this father's walking by his son's room, and he's just frustrated. You can see the son really struggling, and he's got this list of just these birds he's got to remember, and he's got to remember. And all he said was, "Bird by bird, buddy, bird by bird." And I have it printed. It's by Anne Lamott. And I just sometimes it's the most simplest way to be like, do not, because me and my Virgo, you were absolutely right. My Virgo moon can really overtake my unsettle me. If I don't have, so I'm trying to live with not being all the time writing. So this is kind of like work in progress, but it's like, it's also fun figuring it out.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, my sister-in-law, it's funny. I was talking to her and we were discussing the same kind of thing. She just got nailed with all these like bills and stuff. She's got the eighth house, she's got her Venus in Taurus. I'm sorry, Gemini, but it was something was being affected by it. And I feel like it just kind of that whole just got hit the wall. I don't know. She had a moment.
Well, I think it was your the Mars transit that you were talking about in
Mhm.
Capricorn, I mean, that's gonna
Totally.
we're gonna be upset about the debts we have to pay.
Of course, but
But
the action taken, you get when you reap when you do what Saturn is asking, and it is exalted in Saturn, so
Yeah.
it is at it's actually more helpful than I mean, I find when it's in its own sign, it likes to be there. So, you know, here
Yeah.
you go, here's some bills. You might get a little thrown because we haven't been looking at them, but then Mars is going to be like, if you haven't been looking at them and keeping up with them, the taskmaster Saturn that's going to come and kick you in the butt for not doing the actual work prior is what I saw when I opened my book for readings the first time. And I was like, oh my God, I got nailed. I was just like, I was very overwhelmed and I was very scared to give the wrong information. I shut it down immediately. And
Yeah.
I went to Kepler, like you told me to. Like, and I did, and it helped me go even move forward. That was my first stepping stone, passing that overwhelming, but it really, it was zodiac, it was Saturn handing me my ass. Like I got my ass handed to me last year. Like, and it's funny because I've heard astrologers say that, and I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what is that? What is that? How does that really come out? Well, I'll tell you, it comes out in anxiety with Saturn. If you're not doing it right, it'll come out with scared, fear, and like everything, like all the negative parts, the shadow. I'm sorry, no negative. There's no negative. There's a shadow and a, like, you know, and a brighter side to each planet, but the shadow parts of Saturn will definitely make sure that, do you get it now? Do you understand? You know what we're talking about now, right? Okay. So get it, you're
Yes.
done. And I was like, okay, I'll do the work. So that's when I was like, oh, that's what that feels like. Because that's when I started my acupuncture. I mean, I started like I was really unraveling.
And what was your aspect that what you
It was
think?
Saturn. I had Uranus. Well, I have Saturn in the Taurus in my 11th, and I had Uranus and Jupiter there.
You
So
have
Uranus,
Saturn in Taurus.
mhm. But
Yes.
I have a
So,
mutual reception, which helps me to my
okay.
Aquarius sun, moon, my sun, Venus, which is
So
very
these
helpful.
last couple years have been difficult.
Yeah, extremely, extremely.
I'm
You
not
know, and
laughing at you. I'm just the way you
I
say
know,
it.
I
I'm like,
totally listen. I use this is
yeah,
why we do this, is so we
yeah,
can let people understand when these things happen, what we see at the same time. And so when we write our when we discuss it, planets contacting each other, what they're saying and what they're doing, and they're like, well, this person's not doing this in this place. So that, and then they come down and they're like, okay, well, let's show them, let's just try to, but if it's not in some sort of a conscious awareness way, it comes out of nowhere. And it's just like,
yeah,
what the F is that? Like, you know,
yeah,
what's happening? And, you know, where's my dark therapist? Where's my,
yeah. And I think
where's
we,
my,
as astrologers, we in the last couple years, we've all gone back to the conjunction, Jupiter Saturn conjunction of 2020,
exactly, but
which,
nobody remembers. Nobody recalls.
yeah, I think the 2020, I think people will recall that.
I hope they got something. I mean, you know,
I definitely think they will. I mean,
yeah,
the date is continually called out. December
it
19th,
is.
December 19th, December 19th. What were you doing on December 19th? I might have heard that, but in the news, it is
Mhm.
all it's all over.
Now it's all coming back.
So
Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
well, a
Yeah.
little bit, yeah, but I
So
just
you look
think
at
that
that stuff, which
those
I like.
big planetary configurations for the world had major implications on the entire world, and
Mhm.
that those types of things can't be denied. You know what I mean? Like
No,
how it
exactly.
affects you.
All right.
You know, you struggled because you have your natal Saturn is
Mhm.
now with Jupiter and Uranus triggering that
Mhm. And
um
Jupiter was my time lord of my fifth house, of my sixth house.
that year
So
or
that
this
was
year.
for the last, yeah, oh, for this
So
year,
that
23, 23. So Jupiter amplify, I mean, Jupiter runs the roost. So, and it's in my sixth house of, you know, your daily things, but it's also your health. And like, you know,
yeah,
it really hit me mentally wise because of I think the Uranus had a lot to do with that as well, making me really unsettled in the sense. And it's also, even though I have a Saturn in my chart, mutual reception, I'm still getting the Saturn effects and the feelings of, because it'll amplify fear, it'll amplify uncertainty, it'll amplify just scared and just anxious and, you know,
Yeah, anxiety.
anxiety, totally,
Yeah.
totally. People don't, I don't think, see that. I think they just see blocks and block. I mean, which is, I understand, because that's what's really, you know, the keywords of, you know, you always go back to keywords, but there's also, you know, when you, in like you have, you know, you can elaborate, like you can look at the bigger scheme. It's not just those two words, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
there's a rainbow in between,
Spectrum. Yep.
spectrum in between, that's just not talked about a lot, I think, because I
Yeah.
never realized, I thought fear came from, you know, the unsettled of just Uranus or Neptune making me like not really feeling stable in my mind, until you start digging a little deeper and you're like, ew, that's what that is, you know?
I don't think in the American culture it's talked about at all.
No. Oh, the other thing about that collective is when you talk about the uncertainty of how people, you know, don't get it. We all went through something huge. And if they can't
That's what I'm
see
saying.
it,
Yeah.
yeah,
We
and
all
that's what
did.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm
The
going back to
collective. Yeah.
that. Is if collective can't understand that, regardless whether you're a yay or a nay towards any sort of metaphysical sort of like awareness, you can't deny the fact that every person in this world was affected by that.
Yeah.
And when you deny that, you're like,
Yeah.
what is this? Just by chance? This is not by chance that every person, regardless of a chart specific hit,
Yeah.
you were affected by what happened. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, that's what
That's
I
a good
mean by
point.
the
That's a very good
Jupiter
point. Yep.
Saturn conjunction. We all had something going on. No, something happened to, we cannot deny. You cannot deny.
No.
It's like
Right.
zero. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
That conjunction started another 200-year cycle.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very
Which I
interesting.
don't really think people realize what a Pluto return for the United States, the intensity that is, and how, because we don't, I mean, we weren't around, it's, and we won't be around for the next one, obviously, but it's 250 years is a
I
long time.
might.
Well,
I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
I mean, I'll be back as somebody. I hope I'm back as another astrologer, so I can help out from there. Well, continuing on
I'm
from
just kidding.
2023 or 2024.
My dad is in almost 70 and he tells me all the time, you know, the person who is going to live to be 150 is already alive. And I'm like, that's not you, Dad. Like he just wants to live forever.
He's gonna move to like
But it could be, man. He rides
You
his
never
bike
know.
7,000 miles a year.
He what?
He rides his bike
No
7,000.
way.
Yep.
God bless him.
He had a health scare. He had a health
Oh.
scare the year my son was born, and I think was like, I am not old. I am going to do this, and I am not going to ever die.
It takes what it
Scorpio.
takes. Yeah.
Scorpio.
And he decided to do it like in
Yeah.
my sense of my sobriety. I got a rude away. I had a spiritual awakening. I had this one sentence.
Have you
that
ever looked at that? Have you ever
Well,
looked at your chart for
It
that?
was 2008. It was when Pluto went into Capricorn.
Get out of here.
No, no. And it was a Jupiter cycle because we're just coming back around because it was 12. I just had to hit my 14 years. This is my 14th year coming. So I just
Congratulations.
started. Thank you. Yeah, best life I've ever. It's given me a life of my wildest dreams. So anyone listening.
Yeah. It's
you know,
funny, you know,
that's
I love history, but back in the day, especially in Pennsylvania, they had the Quakers.
okay.
Who I don't know if you know the Quakers.
I'm not a big history buff, but I recognize what that is. You know, I passed with a C plus
It's
maybe.
sort of a religion, but more of like a community.
Okay.
They do have a god, that you know, a god. But it's more of a way of life. They're more farmers and realistic, and they're all about seasons and things like that,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Okay.
They're the ones that the Pennsylvanians wouldn't sign up with the Constitution because of the slavery piece. They didn't want to do it at all. And Ben Franklin finally rallied them and was like, we've got to do this. Anyway, why was I saying that? Oh, they are the ones that really lobbied against making alcohol legal. because it
Oh.
wasn't illegal or legal before.
Mhm.
And they
Mhm.
knew that their husbands would go out and drink and become complete assholes and sleep with other women and all these things.
Poor
Women
choices.
too,
Poor
women,
decisions. Yeah, yeah.
women too, it was bad. They knew it was evil. They didn't want it
Mhm.
legal. They didn't want to do any of that stuff. So, there was something to that.
I have a story that I actually heard real quick. Well, we have those malefic fixed stars, and there's one called Algol.
Mm,
And
mhm.
in the, I believe it's in, I'm not sure if it's, listen, please take anything I have as I haven't looked, but I did hear that Algol is related to alcohol. Why? And it's a demon star. And it's
Get out of
why
here.
in the Muslim religion or somewhat, I'm sorry to say, I don't even want to say which exact religion, but
Okay.
in somewhere in that realm of why people don't drink or they have dry in the mid, like in different areas,
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
because you're drinking alcohol, you're drinking this. Well,
Get
this was
out of
just
here.
this was just the thing. I mean, I don't,
Let's look it up.
I
I'll look
know a
it up.
lot of happy drunks. Trust me, I'm just saying. I know a lot
I
of
mean,
people. My brother's the happiest drunk I know.
I
You
used to be a happy drunk, but then, all the
Yeah,
shit got in the way and I stopped
and
being a happy
yeah,
drunk.
and then it doesn't become fun anymore. Yeah,
No,
that's something to look into is that I would love to know actually, I should have before I even speak, should really
that's
kind of,
okay. No,
but
no,
it was something that was
we can,
important.
we can cross reference. It's
Okay,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
I'll
Yeah, because
find some
it does,
sites.
I remember it stuck out for me when I heard it. I was like, wow, that does make sense. And that was,
Yeah.
and it actually is brought up in one of their books. I should probably email Adam on that one. He's really good with the philosophy and all that stuff.
Adam who?
Uh, Adam Allen Boss. I know he's just a kind of, Adam, he's a nightlight astrology.
Yeah. Okay.
But I know,
There's
he's very smart. He does a lot of, I mean, he's very smart with like that kind of, like, he does a lot of philosophical. I think he graduated with his philosophy and writings and stuff like that in his master's. And I believe something like he's got knowledge, but he's also not a braggadocious type. He like kind of is like, well, if he doesn't know, he'll just say, I don't know, which is where I feel I am right now.
so I thought it was very interesting. I looked up because there's some major aspects of this year. And the one obviously that we're going to probably talk about over and over again is Pluto and Aquarius.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
Pluto, the last time Pluto was at 00000 Aquarius was January 28th, 1778. And guess what we did? We signed a treaty with France that they would come into the war and help us fight the British monarch. I thought that was so interesting. There's
That
all
is
these pictures with George Washington signing, well, not pictures, but
right. Sure.
paintings of, and that yesterday, the pen was to paper and it ratified, still at 00 Aquarius, but like, I think
Something like
36
that. Yeah, a
minutes or
couple
something
minutes.
like that. Yeah. So I thought
But
that was
basically, it's
very,
basically
very interesting. A piece of paper taking us into the future. We've had the French American treaties for years. They pulled us out of the revolution. We pulled them out of this war. They came to help us with this,
Yeah.
so it's been a 250-year alliance that
Mhm.
has kind of stood the test of time.
Yeah. Well, I feel, I mean, with Pluto going into Mars, Aquarius, basically, I feel as well on that. I wrote some little snippets down of, um, it's like what they're going to do is I think thinking differently, thinking how to do it
Yes.
differently. I think like a Steve Jobs type of thing, like how technology is going to take over. They're striking zones. I mean, they're striking drone manufacturers now. I mean, that's
Mhm.
AI. I mean, that's
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, who isn't praying that it doesn't turn into what it was.
Ugh.
If there's going to be, I'm sure, of course, there's never not conflict somewhere, but I mean, I really don't want to sound unintelligent, but I try not to watch too much of, I touch it, but live in it. It's a lot. But I think it's gonna be more of how we connect with the think about the web, like the WW, the World Wide Web, Pluto. It's like the underground too. It's like the underbelly. Everything like is coming up and out, and people are gonna want to know. I mean, you know, what's lurking underneath. They want answers. They want a reason. I mean, but it's gonna be good, bad, and different. You know, but hopefully they'll get a hold of, you know, the Mercury conjunct Pluto is like what I wrote. Like it's just like I find it to be your upset, like your power, it's power wherever in Aquarius, which is for the, but if you don't put it out for the collective, if people take their power for themselves,
Yeah.
it's not. I feel that that's where it's, well, we might see a lot of in what I've been studying and looking at, is that I feel that if people stick to their one-on-one and like, oh, it's, if you try to reap for what yourself is and not anything that's good for the collective, that's where you are gonna have power struggles.
Wait, expand on that.
You're gonna have, okay, the collective, because if you like say, okay, well, I mean, not to name names, I want to be elected here because I want to push this, because I want to be this person in that group, but it doesn't matter who they are. I just want to be me there and them to see me. You're not doing anything for the group. Like you're not doing anything for
It's
people or the
serves
collective.
your selfish
serves
purpose. Your
yourself.
purpose. I understand.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not
So
doing
in
it for
that
the
sense,
group.
that's what I feel, you know, Pluto, you know, who knows like how it will play when, but right now Mercury's conjunct it. Our minds are strong. Pluto's got hold of that right now. Like it's all encompassed, empowered in it. And there's going to be egotism. I mean, there's going to be obsessions, like obsessives. Like Pluto's a pretty tough,
With obsessions with
obsessions. You could be obsessed with a person. All
Yeah.
of a sudden, or all of a sudden, I'm obsessed right now because it went into my son, my 8th house, which is like an occult house. It's Aquarius. I'm obsessed with getting this now because as of the full moon, I left my job finally.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
transition, which was another. I don't know if we spoke of that, but
Yeah, we did.
we did. Okay, I'd have to go back.
Congratulations.
Oh, thanks. Yes. Well, I'm finally feeling it because it was a lot. I mean, it happened midweek, the end of the week. It was Thursday. It was like, you know, so now my parents have been here and now they're out. I can actually get into here and start getting going. But now I'm like linear. I want to get going so we can get this what we want to help people with our contribution. I feel Pluto and our Mercury, like Pluto Mercury conjuncting right now in the beginning of our sign of Aquarius is perfect for us
Yeah.
because we're
Yeah.
getting it out into the technology world. We're going to
Yeah.
be getting it out. So, I mean, our timing is on point. 7th house perfection for me. I have to still, I don't know if I pulled yours out. And then
I'm hoping that people are obsessed with their communities. You know,
that's,
because that's what I'm hoping.
yeah, well,
You know, that's what I'm
that sounds like
hoping.
it should be because of Pluto being in the sign of communities.
Yeah, that's
This
what
is
I'm
where,
hoping. Like we
yeah,
need that.
well,
Americans need that. We all need it.
exactly. We all definitely have to have our each other's backs, but we also
Yeah.
have to make sure that people that are not used to that, they're used to being the center of attention. This is a major shift to like
Or
Earth,
all alone. Or
or
all
all
alone.
alone,
Yeah.
isolated, reach out. Yeah,
Isolated.
yeah,
Yeah.
reach out. But I mean, I feel that this is gonna be, I think it's gonna be a subconscious shift at first because I don't think I mean, no one's gonna really, I think, really feel like you don't go from, well, I mean, it's pretty earth to air, so it's like a missile taking off, you know,
Yeah.
basically. But
Yeah.
still, we don't know what that feels like in Aquarius.
No,
And now
we
we
don't.
have all of now, but we're going to have we're gonna have a quick tutorial on it because we have all our personal planets going through it
Yeah.
because they're all at the end degrees of Capricorn, getting ready to hit 0 degree Aquarius, which
I
is
think it's
exactly
gonna
where Pluto is.
I think that's going to be
Awakening.
very interesting. The next weeks are going to be what the next 20 years are going to be. Do you think that?
Well, I don't know exactly if the 20 years, because we are dipping back into Cap in September.
That's right.
I think that people will have, though, a better understanding of, hopefully, better understanding of how to utilize what they're learning from now until September. or what they're experiencing, or yeah, hopefully get a learning experience. Either way, good, bad, and
Yeah.
different. We don't know which way they're going. I mean, not everyone's, like us, like we're into like more of, not everyone's like us, and that's everyone. You have to kind of meet them where they're at. Hopefully they'll see it without it, because Pluto doesn't takes no prisoners.
Yeah.
Like take all the prisoners, you know what I mean? He doesn't, oh, well, they did this last, no, they're like, come on, we're doing this now, and if you're not gonna do this, you're gonna be transformed in a pretty hard, I mean, Pluto's harder than, it's I think one of the most, I mean, obviously scary, like we look at Pluto because it's powerful. It's very powerful, extremely. I mean, we don't like to use, anything negative. It's not negative because you can use power in a good way if you're not trying to be, but this is also egotistical, like you're obsessed with one thought that you have that you want everyone to know. Only this, no other way you can think about it, and I'm gonna push it down your throat, or else then that's it. That's basically if it's not like kind of ebbed and flowed, and like, I don't know, like it ebbs and flows, but if it's not taken into its natural account of these are the situations that Pluto can hand you. Okay, you choose, everyone, I hope they choose wisely, but you can choose, you think you're gonna go at it alone? Because it's a lonely place being alone up there, even if you're up there, you have a lot of people down here looking up at you that
Yeah.
aren't really loving what they see, that's obsession too. That's where people will become obsessed with either taking you down, you know what I mean? That can
Mhm.
lead to obsessions in so many different ways,
Mhm.
in personal lives. I mean, people, hopefully Mars is coming up to, I mean, Pluto, which is the thing, but that's also if we just take it down to our level in our own community, not even collectively, in like your life. I feel that, trying to overpower isn't a way to stay, I don't know, grounded, connected. I don't know. It's, everyone has their own thoughts. Everyone has their own opinions. Everyone has that, but nobody wants to listen to what other people has and work on it, or work, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, that, if that makes any sense.
it does.
Yeah. So that's the thing about, um, with that, we get the moon going into Capricorn too on Tuesday. That was yesterday. I mean, is that today?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Every
I'm
day's a Saturday for you, huh?
No, baby, I'm working. I love
I
it.
am just
No, I
teasing
love
you.
it.
I'm just kidding.
I'm trying, like, and it's funny because it's a shift. I've never worked from home all the time,
Yeah.
especially on something that's such a new venture, but it doesn't feel that new because I've been working on it for 6 years. But now it's come to a different level, different, a different place where I can finally hopefully help just people not get out of their own way sometimes. I mean, I had to get out of my own way. I had to put down, I mean, it was a 12, I mean, getting sober wasn't, I was riding my bike to my sponsor's house. I mean, I did the work because I wanted it. Like you have
So
to
let me
want
ask you, when I got sober, it was very difficult. It was the first 6 months were really difficult.
it.
Um, but I realized that I found astrology, but I needed to fill my time.
Mm.
I drank every day.
Mm.
Um,
I'm with you.
I I think having the ability, I had a support system. My husband was sober as well. Um, he had been sober for 2 years. So he kind of already had that structure.
That's helpful. That's like like a temporary a sponsor.
A little bit,
You
yeah.
need that. Yep.
He never went to a meeting.
Okay.
Um, I don't know how he does it. He's one of those people that the alarm goes up and he gets right out of bed. And I've been with him 20 years. He's never hit the snooze alarm once in 20 years, 5 a.m. He's just that guy. He can just
Yeah.
turn it off. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? And
That's a
I
good.
was not. And I would talk to him about how I was struggling and that I needed rehab or something. I
Yes.
needed something.
Yeah.
And I went back to school.
Yeah.
I mean,
Learn. Use your
yeah,
mind. You know,
yeah,
Gemini, that you need to keep your mind, or else you get
yeah.
bored, and then
And
you will start drinking. And that's what
like,
happens. You get
right.
bored.
It's
So,
boredom for me.
well,
And then I thought I wasn't fun. But then
oh,
COVID hit, which was the a blessing. Um, you know, John Kennedy said this, but it wasn't a real saying. He said that there's an Asian saying, um, out of um out of destruction comes opportunity, but they don't
mhm.
really say it.
I
So
love
it's
that.
actually him who made the saying.
Okay. I
He,
like
in
that
his
a lot,
speech,
though.
he said, there's an old, I think he said Chinese, but he said there's an old Asian adage, out of destruction comes opportunity. But they never, that's not a saying.
I understand. It did, but
It
still,
is, but it's
it's,
not what he
but
said.
it's a thing. It's
Yeah.
definitely a thing, even though putting the words together, it is. It's, I, by the grace of God, I didn't have to hit total rock bottom. I mean, I stepped off the elevator before it hit. And just for me,
Oh, you did.
yeah, I went one chip wonder. So I just got suggested to go to, I went to a meeting that night, that day, that girl said, she just said to me, you seek him, he will come. I was like, well, who are you and why, there's no one else in this room but you and me. And
Wow.
you don't even know me. And
Were
she
you
looked
in
at me.
Florida at the time?
I was in Florida. It was 2008.
Mm-hmm.
I started a new job and I had this woman, lovely woman, and I don't know where she is today. Her name is Kira. She was a Eastern European, so she was a masseuse. And I was sitting in my chair. It was my first meeting I was going to go to. I just moved to Florida, couldn't get out of the vacation mode because I came from Boston. I
Yeah,
came
yeah,
and I don't even know, it's very challenging. I went back even sober and I'm like, how do these people get
yeah,
up and get the oomph to go? I mean, at least I
yeah.
have a sunshine that comes out, which was,
Right.
I felt for people
Mm-hmm.
there. I went
Mm-hmm.
back to Boston and I knew a friend that was struggling and I'm like, well, look at this place. Like, look at it. It's very hard to find a happy tribe that'll be like, yeah, let's go do this and then do some yoga and then
Yeah,
go have so go get a juice,
yeah.
whatever.
That's
And
not East Coast behavior.
it's not Boston either. I mean, it is, but I didn't find it there. So anyway, so I'm sitting there, my first meeting, I'm like, I never tried to stop on my own. Let me give it a shot. She came out of her room, nobody in the salon, nobody. And I look up, she goes, Michelle, your eyes, they look so pretty. And I'm like, oh my God, Kira, thank you. And she goes, if you seek him, he will come. I did not pick up a drink from that day. I have,
Wow.
thank heaven, on my father's eyes who's passed. I have not picked up a drink, not even sipped, not touched, not set, not even a thought, I mean, I did not today. I'm not going to do a drink today, but I still respect where I was. I don't look back. I mean, I look back, I don't stare, but I
Yeah.
also don't ever say, oh no, I won't, like, do I feel that? I feel that I'm not drinking today, and I still do that every day. I'm like, no, not today.
Mhm.
Because at 3 years in, I did have that overwhelming moment of, I'm never going to drink again. But I became more fun. I
Yeah.
think, life
Yeah.
gets funner. I felt that, life was just, those promises came true. But I was at a meeting every day for 8 years. It's group therapy is
Mm.
what I looked at meetings
Yeah.
as. So I could hear, we all had the same common denominator. You don't feel uncomfortable and you hear what you want to hear and then you leave what you don't want to take up. I was the optimist, like an optimistic astrologer. I was an optimistic alcoholic. I had spirituality. I was kind of born like that. I mean, my mom kind of instilled like, just good values, I guess. Did not when I was,
Yeah.
yeah, the best. Anyway, I was irresponsible. I wouldn't go to work
Mm.
and I was living on my own down here and it was really
Yeah.
hard. It's not going to work. That's not going to work out. And I did not want to go back to Boston, but that really wasn't my motivating factor. But I definitely don't stay anonymous. I want people to know that because
Yeah.
by the grace of God, it's given me a life of my dreams and I'm living my dream right now and
I
talking here.
agree. I don't want to stay anonymous either.
Yeah,
I
no,
have a
right.
friend that didn't tell me she was sober till I got sober. And
Hmm.
I wish she would have said something sooner.
Sure. You need to
Um,
hear things sometimes.
I don't know that I would have listened, but you know,
You don't know.
yeah. I
And I always
smashed
say,
on the bottom.
you hit hard.
Smashed.
You bounced, though. You
But
bounced. You didn't
yeah.
smash because you got back up. You did
Hmm.
not smash. you know, you
Well,
pick the pieces up and you put it back together, and it's
yeah.
an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Like every day. I mean, what do you think? Yeah, I went into the yoga start. I mean, it was hard and it's painful, but I did it because I knew that I used AA to build my life, but I wasn't using my life around AA. Like after the pandemic, like I had stopped going to meetings every day, but I still was in contact with all my peeps. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
and I still see them here and there. I'll call them, I'll talk to them, but it's not in a, oh my God, I'm having a rough day anymore. You know, it
Yeah.
was more of a, hey, how you doing? How you been feeling? You know, because I have a friend that was 8 years sober, we thought, but she was not sober the whole time. I had no
Mm.
idea. I had no idea. She went back to rehab for like a few times. She finally, I haven't actually spoken with her for like a couple months, but you know, it was about a year ago. She had mentioned that she's now really done. And I'm like, that's great. I'm really happy to hear that, you know, but it just takes what it takes when it takes it, you know, and I'm grateful that I got but I didn't find out my dad was sober. We just didn't drink in the house. I didn't know that until I was 4 months sober. My dad was an alcoholic. I
Mm.
didn't know, so I didn't have an excuse. Another thing too, you know, I just blamed my choices, you know, and I look at the transits of that, and that was when Pluto went into Capricorn. You know, that's my seventh, that's my seventh house relationship with my alcohol. I mean, it had to get transformed. And Jupiter kind of came through and did its thing, and it's cyclical, you know, beautiness. And you know, and I always looked at it as being Jupiter, but then I realized, I mean, they're like, oh yeah, well, Saturn went into Capricorn in 2008. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, maybe that was what it was. You know,
Yeah.
because sometimes
Probably.
you don't know, like at that point I didn't know astrology.
Yeah.
Was, you know, so I wasn't, but now that I look at it, I still wish I don't pull a lot of dates for certain things because I'm not ready yet. I don't feel that, like very important situations, like, you know, the passing of my dad, it was my Saturn return, but it wasn't, I didn't look at the exact locations of anything because I'm not ready yet, and I don't want to make sure I see everything right. Like I just don't want to pull things out that, you know, I may look for the future, because I have, my mom's healthy, and I have an amazing stepdad that has become my dad for the past 20 years, you know, so I don't
Mm.
need to know things right now, you know, because I'm 54, and you know, I got 4 years for my second Saturn return coming, like, you know, so I'm going to be in a different place at that point, and I'll look when I'm closer. Probably just to
Or
get
you don't
over.
ever have to look at all.
I don't have to look at all, but I'll look, like I'll do my solar return charts like for the following year, just to kind of get a gist of where my Time Lord's doing. You know, just I don't go through the day to day, like I you know, I
Mhm.
see it on the day because I can't remember all that I can't. You know what I mean? I can't, let me journal this down, and then I'll look at my schedule. Like that's obsessive. That's
Yeah.
Pluto, right? What we're talking here is Pluto,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Pluto
Yeah.
Mercury speaking. I'll become obsessed with it, you know, and
Yeah.
trying to fix people in different ways that I am not qualified. My pay grade hasn't reached there yet. So we're
Well,
working.
I think back to our conversation from last week,
Mhm.
you know, the best way to get into astrology to bring it all back is because we worked in the public.
Public,
We were
yes.
trying to figure out
Right. And did you say, how
what
many
the
years?
fuck was going on.
30 years as a hairdresser. I mean,
Yeah, I was in the
in
I was in the
North,
hospitality
that's
industry
what I'm
the same
saying.
amount,
Yeah. How
25
long? 30
years.
years? Yeah.
25. Yeah.
Huge for human development, to be
Yeah.
able to understand humans and developments and how,
We should have PhDs in psychology. You and I.
honestly, because it's
Really, we should. We could. We
Adam
probably
Boss
could.
has he in year 3, he's doing a class and he's adding in some psychology, which I could
You have
probably
to.
take right now. I am going to do it. I'm going to definitely take it. I think it's very huge. I mean, you know, we'd use it for my nephews and my nieces to keep an eye on, you know, where they are more than, you know, where we are as adults. You know, I mean, we
Yeah.
have history we can check back on, but they don't have so much in back of them. So we can kind of see, you know, I kind of look a little bit more for like, you know, we're not, you know, they're going to have outside influences that affect them. You know, the girls become, she's 12, she becomes her friends, and the boys become boys. You know, it's like, you have to let them go through the natural progression without actually, don't do that, because until Pluto moves into your seventh house, we're not doing this until you know what I mean? You
Right.
keep plan out, you can't map out, you can try to lead a little bit, but you can't map out their whole life. I mean, just look at the first 90 days of the ephemeris when he was born. That's his whole life. It's like, it's pretty amazing how that actually.
It is really crazy how that works out.
Tricks and tips that they have is incredible, incredibly powerful. Wow, look at our powerful Mercury Pluto talk.
I know. I want to run upstairs and get our sheet of things that we have talked about. Give me one
Okay,
second.
you want to pause the recording? Okay. Oh my gosh, I just got a really sweet.
All right, I'm back.
Hi. I just got a really sweet text from a friend that read my post and sent a snapshot and said thank you for this. I get a UGH, so hopefully that's helping her. Yeah, today's a little bit of this might be a little bit of a awakening for people, because it's the first personal planet that's hit Pluto, and it's our communication in our minds. Then we get the moon going there. Well, no, I'm sorry, the moon, not the moon, my bad. The moon's gonna sext, shoot. No, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I misspoke. I'm working on my list writing.
That's okay.
I'm still in development.
It's funny. We talked about a little bit of our third bullet point. It says Michelle has Saturn in Taurus. And I think that trine, when Pluto went into Capricorn for you, your moon, Saturn and Pluto and Cap, you had that trine going on, natally for quite some time.
I also have Neptune in the fifth house, Sag, which is Neptune is alcohol and drugs. I do a lot. I don't do drug. It wasn't a drug thing. It was I'm sorry, it was an alcohol thing. I shouldn't have said that like that. I'm not that, but which isn't, I've gone to NA meetings with friends. It's not like I'm not a prude, but anyway, I don't, not anymore, whatever. So
I understand.
Okay. But I lost my train of thought. Neptune, Sag, overdoing it because the Jupiterian aspect. So of the same, Jupiter expands everything. So you want more and more. And that is the shadow sides that we look at with Jupiter. So Jupiter is benefics, abundance. It gives you, the start of that cycle. I feel he had a lot to do with that. Oh, she had a lot. He had a lot to do with they, but
so it's interesting you said that, because our generation, the Plutos and Libra, have Jupiter and Sag, and a lot of
Neptune
and Sag. A lot of my friends struggle with alcohol and found themselves getting sober in the last few years. In the hospitality industry, no one's sober. No one is sober.
Hairdressers?
Oh, really? Is it bad? I didn't know that.
They're drinking during work.
But in the last, like you said, not 2008, probably when it went to the more halfway point at 15 degrees and later.
Like going to where you're at, mine's 0 degree. Sag. It's basically 0 Sag.
wow.
So mine's right when it
I'm
hit.
7. I can't
So
remember.
once whatever hit, it was 0. Once it went there, I went. No, once Pluto went there, I went. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that our pocket, our little generation, I think, had a big problem with alcohol. And it's funny, my husband has been in a band for decades. Um one was extremely successful, and not that the others haven't been successful, it just hasn't. He's been older and a father, and
Yeah.
um this past, when Pluto went into Aquarius, excuse me, his new band played again, and they were fantastic. They were, I call them the middle-aged knights, but he has a different name for them.
Okay. That's cute. I like that though.
My son thought of that.
That's
Um,
very cute. He's creative.
but 90% of the room, who was a bunch of drunk idiots 15 years ago, are now sober. And there's really only one person that's still drinking. And man, was I talking to you about it?
No,
I can hardly talk to him anymore, because like drunk speak, you just repeat,
can I
and they're
know?
yelling, and it's like,
And they're repeating themselves, like
I love
repeating their
you. I
stories.
love you, but I
Yeah,
can't be around it.
right. It's a tough play. It's a tough. I mean, when I see that starting, I leave. I'm like,
Yeah.
they used to call me a Boston Night Rider. If I went out to clubs,
Irish goodbye.
I swear, if I went into any of the nightclubs with my friend, I always took my own car. Because and I would go from club to club, but all of a sudden they would see the tail ends of my lights. I'm like, oh, there goes Night Rider. She's out. But when I'm done, I'm done. Like I can't, I don't want to be in that area, that place anymore. I
Yeah.
haven't changed in that sense so much because, well, I've moon and yeah, I like to be in my moon, my home. I like to go
Yeah.
home. And but at the same sense, now even going out to dinner or like, and it even like, I'll go out to drinks. I don't drink, but I'll go out to bars. I don't mind. My big drink is soda water and grenadine. It's like
Yeah.
it's the best real Ricky.
I drink juice, orange
Delicious.
and pineapple juice.
You gotta try this. It's delicious.
Mm.
Anyway, but then and when it starts to get there, or somebody all of a sudden is honing in on their entire life, the conversations, I go to take the call.
Yeah.
I gotta get my husband. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, I'm out. And that's basically I have a time limit. Like, and even if I go to a party, I'm there for an hour and a half. I have a good time. I like to go home and go to bed. I enjoy my days.
Yeah.
But that's just, you alter, you just change, but you end up just starting to like it when you start. I mean, even if people teeter back and forth, when you teeter back, you're like, I did it again, and you're like, yeah, okay, well, next time try not to do it a little less, you just do a
Yeah.
little less and do a little less. Try
Yeah.
to do, don't beat yourself up over it. It's not like it's all or nothing if you can't get there like that. But like you though, I can't. There's certain people that they get drunk, they start crying, and I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I don't right now. I can't. Oh, I'm
And I
not
think that
ready.
as a collective, to tell our two listeners is that it's okay to leave.
It's
It's okay
okay.
to say, I'm tired, I've had enough. And I think COVID luckily did that for us.
Yes, yeah. Well, I think it really definitely settled people coming in. I mean, I don't know. I mean, everyone's life, but hopefully they weren't drinking like they were at the bars. But I'm sure there was
I think a lot of people, you either went one way or the other. I mean,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
um,
But it's like where you're at when you're ready. And like I always said, because I was 38, so I said, I wish I did it sooner. Do I? Or it just happened when it happens is, what my sponsor would be saying to me right now.
I
It was
became a
meant to
mom at
be. And I
38.
really find that timing does present itself. Like, even leaving my job, I mean, I am aware of the aspects. I'm aware of my progress chart. I know what was going on. I know a lot about that part now that I can actually utilize. I can use it. And that's what I'm trying to share with people is I'm not just putting out these posts. I'm living them. I'm like,
Yeah.
I live them. I experience them. I have stories for everything I write that
Yeah.
you always check back. So when I say things, I'm like, It's not like, there was one I actually recently said, like me, I had a hard time putting myself out there. This is outside of my comfort zone.
Really?
Oh my gosh, I am so shy. I'm such a hairdresser, but I'm so shy. I can do a one-on-one with my clients, but but now I'm feeling comfortable because I feel like we're one-on-one. And then I
Yeah.
sometimes I don't look at a lot of the things that come after. That's what I have you for.
I mean, I think
Like,
you should have confidence.
Michelle, give me the stats. Like, give me the stats on how do you do?
Okay, so this is why I have my headphones on. Can you hear my dogs barking?
No, no.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
no, it's fine. I heard a little bit. It's fine.
But
Can she
I'm
hear?
trying
She's
to drown.
snoring.
No, I'm trying to drown it out because they're always going to bark.
That's okay. I have no problem with that. I don't think it's a problem. It doesn't
So,
bother me.
little Mercury, thank you for this discussion. I think people need it.
Yes, absolutely. I think it was a good broad range of, you know, powerful thoughts. That's what I put, I'm positive, 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 positive. Everyone feels that Pluto is a scary, like when you have Pluto and Mercury together, take your powerful thoughts and turn and use them for yourself, to make yourself good, to bring out, if you have a great idea, figure out like this, our great idea of this and how we can get at this together, get through all the bumps and bruises that we're going to go through to develop this, which is going to be amazing. But don't be afraid to take the first steps of getting what you want to get out there without shoving it down people's throats is going to be a hard thing. I think the power struggle is going to be a hard thing. People don't change, that. But for the ones that can, or even inviting us to help them want to understand and change maybe themselves from the inside, because that's what we do. We start from the inside and then we take it out. But that's definitely the Mercury Pluto. That's our power. I mean, I don't think it's going to be all, it's going to be strong, but I just don't feel that it doesn't have to be debilitating or overwhelming unless you put all of that into your mind and into your plate. We have control over that. That's power. That's Pluto. You can you want to sign up for 15 classes to watch next week? Do it. How are you going to feel? And what is your mind going to do? It's going to explode. You're going to get overwhelmed and then you're going to get aggravated with just your son having to go to a basketball game. Not saying that this is you, but I'm using you as an excuse. Oh my God, my life is getting in my way. Of what? Of what I put on my plate. Well, let's think about that, I guess.
I have to say, Michelle, I follow the transits, but I'm kind of letting you drive that bus at the moment. And I let you and Anne and my other astrologers do that kind of work.
I appreciate that you respect that. You like what I say. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, you said last week, and I've said it a couple of times, the Mars trine was going to be tough. And I know what Capricorn brings, Mars and Capricorn brings. And I kind of knew, like, I wonder what kind of
what's going to show up,
what money situation is going to show up, because all the,
yeah.
And Anne had said, not that it's going to come due, but kind of like, you knew that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I did, I had to pay, it's car getting inspected. That's every year. I got to do it every year. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. So hooray for that. Right?
Do they do 2 years there? No.
No, it's every fucking
They have 2
year.
years here in Florida. But we don't have inspections.
You don't have inspection. I know.
No, because there's no.
Well, that's why all the snowbirds have their cars registered in Florida, so they don't have to get it inspected every year. I have a couple of our parents have houses in Florida, and they leave the cars and they leave the car registration in Florida.
It could be a 2-wheel. It could have 2 wheels missing, a door off. Doesn't matter. I had a guy cut me off the other day. I think it was like, it was a small little one of those little those little mini like pickup trucks.
Yeah.
But it was taller, carrying like furniture and like things. Of course, they go around and they, whatever, do what they do to make their money. Yeah. And but man, I swear to God, this thing was not. It was like, I almost want to follow you to make sure you're going to be okay.
My son loves going to Florida to see all the cars. He's like,
Oh yeah, it's pretty incredible. It's pretty,
He's amazed every time. He's
it's
like,
so funny.
they drive around in that? Like, he doesn't get that there's not
Yeah.
seasons and
You
stuff.
know,
I
it's
mean, he
really funny.
does, but he doesn't,
I kind of make fun of Florida. Not, it is because we don't have any snow. The cars stay nice, but it's very rare you can take your McLaren out or your Ferrari out to do 100 and whatever because you have a red light every like 500 yards. You have to like speed up, stop, speed up, stop, because it's the grid, and it's
Get
kind
on the Sawgrass Highway pretty
oh,
quickly.
geez, please. Oh my God. I don't like this.
That's because everybody's going 900 miles an
Yes,
hour.
yeah, and you have two lanes, you have no way to get out of their way. You're like, I gonna stay on 95, which is another death trap, but whatever. Anyway,
So thank you for telling me about that you were, and boy, we started our conversation, we started our lives, which I think we should do that.
okay, yes,
I think when we wrap
I
this
think,
up, I think we should jump on and do the aspects of the day like you did.
okay, sure,
I mean, I thought that was great.
okay. I
I
liked it.
got
I
some
hadn't have gone on my story. I just signed up for TikTok. I told you. But
TikTok, whatever.
no, but I'm gonna try to get it across the board, like to where I'm gonna do a tutorial and I'm gonna sign up for more classes overall
See
myself.
this? Look at
Oh no.
us.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean, that's a little harsh. I mean, it's the underbelly coming up. It's not Pluto dumping on top of it's coming from the inside. So she should be throwing up. I'm just kidding.
Let's see.
I'm teasing.
We
I
got
don't
115 people watched our video Friday.
Yay!
And I am
Awesome.
not doing any promotion. I'm not doing any pushing. I'm
That
not,
might be, I see if my
I'm,
husband said something.
no, and I know.
We're gonna be starting really doing that. I feel this was our most constructive podcast and it's only our second one. Don't you feel that?
We are so awesome.
I
Okay.
know.
So tell me the aspects of the week, not including today or tomorrow, because we're going to go live with those.
Okay. We get some, so Wednesday. Okay. Wednesday, we have Venus trining Uranus. It's going to be an update to your, with trining. So you're updating your relationships. You might be trying new things, but the trying is going to be a little bit, it's going to be helpful. And that's relationships across the board because Venus, mostly sometimes women may come, usually a lot of times they say women come to the forefront when it comes to Venus. We have the moon trining Neptune, which is it's the signal to move towards your dreams. Like, it's giving you, it's like holding its hand and it's gonna like where you emotionally want to go. And Neptune's and even if you have these outlandish, dreamy, like over the abundance, don't deny yourself the thoughts of it because that's what the sextile wants to invite you. Like just hey, see how give it a hand, see how it goes. If it doesn't work out, you course correct later in the day. That's Wednesday.
This is the moon trining Neptune is Wednesday.
Correct. Yeah.
I had a pretty vivid dream last night.
Oh, serious. Okay, that's cool. Okay, yeah, Neptune's huge. Neptune also is what I've been hearing. But I've been actually noticing it when Neptune is in play is look at California. Water. I mean, it's gonna be a rainy, that's what another thing is we're talking about. Rainy.
They need the rain.
Well, they don't need this is
they don't need the floods.
But they're also having high winds like they don't even know, hurricane winds, like they don't, I never recorded, they said. So this is a big week of info. Oops.
Okay.
Thursday we get the sun squaring Uranus. This is new beginnings. You break from the norm. The sun trine Uranus, that's you. That's probably going against, now you've had Venus come and sextile. Maybe you met somebody to start your new dream vision of. Well, now the sun's going to square Uranus. Now that's going to maybe get you to where you want to work towards that breakthrough, what that new idea that you have coming, that's also there. This starts our power moves for the future, basically, is the sun square Uranus, because the squares, when you're squaring an outer planet, what I find, since it's not personal, it's more of the sun, of course, is personal, but it's you you have to do work. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You can't just sit back and go, wow, look at this transit. This is going to be, the square is not going to allow that. You have to actually get out there, sun, us being one, and then Uranus being, go to the breakthrough, go work, go do the different thing, go try something new to make it more successful, or what didn't work the first time. It's not like it's not like a Mercury retrograde, but it's like, you're consciously going forward. You're not really hitting blocks, but you're getting these moments of, ideas. Oh, wow, maybe I'll try that. It comes, and when it comes to you, write it down, even if you don't get to it till next month, till next month, like the dreams, especially, you have.
Yeah, I always,
so, Friday, you know what? Let me see if I get some.
so I feel like that Thursday
yeah.
is like confidence. Have the
Confidence.
confidence to move forward. Okay.
Yes,
cool.
yeah, you want to find that, especially with Uranus, because Uranus is unsettling, it's unstabilizing, it's picking you
Rebellious.
taking me out of your comfort zone, but getting you, what was that saying you just said from John, what the Kennedy thing you said, you want to move, you go that uncomfortable space, go lean in.
Lean in.
This, I'm leaning in. You don't think I'm scared? I mean, this is, it doesn't seem like, but 90% presentation inside, I'm going, hoping for the best, but worst case scenario, I'm not telling you to, I'm sending out the knowledge I know. And when I know more, better, I'll do better,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'll get to be more, and I'll be more organized. Okay. So personally, do the thing in the area.
Hey, Virgo, you're organized enough.
I'm organized enough for now. Right. And I'm always course correcting. So the end of the week, so the end of the week is going to feel a little bit chaotic.
Okay.
Because you may be doing a lot of things. Like you may be not doing a lot of things, but like, all of a sudden you hit the sextile. Now you're doing the Uranus, and you might have ideas and you're like, oh my God, I want to do all this stuff.
Okay.
But then there's going to be things that might throw you into uncertainty. Yeah, just things that make second guess yourself, I guess.
Okay.
I maybe not say that. I'm gonna make a better point on Thursday when I do my post.
Okay.
Friday, then Friday, I'm sorry, Friday's the chaotic. Saturday, Mercury squares Jupiter. This is your confidence. You might get some big news that's really good for you. Lots of conversation. You're gonna talk out a lot of ideas. Jupiterian, big futuristic, but this is where you may overextend yourself. So if you look through the week of like those things, and then you may hit some chaotic bumps, take a breath, take a minute, write them down. Just like, and I've found, like, my husband, it's funny, he goes, why don't you always use, because he's a tech guy. He's like, why don't you use Google Notes? Because even when I write my day-to-day, now this is, oh my God, I'll show you. This is how I have to, these are from day one, all of my written days aspects. Because then I'll go back and I'll try to, see what happens, counter correct. I didn't want to look cheesy because I started a new pad. So I'll just show you but I have to write it down because, I can type it and I don't feel that, I feel like it's I am that person that's a little bit more Virgo, and I'm sure. But that's what I prefer to do. So what I suggest is, if you're feeling scattered, if you're feeling chaotic, write down why, and then write down what might be doing it. Oh, look what I did. I mean, but put it on yourself. I mean, we do have externals, but we can respond or we can react to the externals. I'm working on responding. Do I react? I react internally a lot more than I'll snap on somebody, but you can definitely see it in my face. This doesn't change. I'm like,
so I tell all my clients, astrology or otherwise, because I work at a nonprofit.
yeah.
And I tell them to write everything down. I tell them to write when they're feeling stressed. So my clients usually have a lot of things to do. They have a lot of things to accomplish. So they feel overwhelmed
in their own life for the social life.
Yeah. And I tell them, write it down. Even if it's a daily thing where you write down, get up, go to the bathroom,
Exactly.
eat lunch, whatever you need to get accomplished. Then you're at the end of the day or the end of the week, whenever you do, you're checking things off. You've made accomplishments.
And give
Going to
yourself
the
that.
bathroom is a thing. Like
It's
you
a
didn't
thing.
sit on the couch
Yeah.
and soil your pants. You got up.
Right.
You made
Right.
lunch. You made lunch for everybody.
I write down, read one chapter in this book.
Yeah, everything.
You know,
I
and
have
then
to
give
do too.
yourself, because if you can't, because when you start writing 5 years, so this is, I mean, this is through experience. People are like, oh, I'll do vision boards. I like vision boards. I mean,
Yeah.
I keep them, they're fun. And I really feel that they do a lot for me. Excuse me. And but
You okay?
when you do yeah, I had to regather my thought and I had to clear my throat. When you put like, oh, I'm gonna start this, I'm gonna lose 50 pounds by this date. I'm gonna get sober, like what? No. Just don't drink today. Or don't
Yeah.
do the small, like, you
Yeah.
don't, 5 year plans, sure, they're great. But how are you gonna remember, I mean, what if it changes? How many things happened in 1 year?
Yeah.
I moved in 1 year twice. Did I think that was happening? Well, I actually kind of saw. But anyway, I knew it was happening.
Actually, I knew it was happening.
But I mean, it's like you don't know these things. But one of my point is like when you think about 2023, everyone, and it's funny. I keep hearing people say, "Can you believe it's already February? Can you believe?" I'm like, I've been feeling every minute of these. I don't think it's been going so fast that people
Yeah.
like, things like they're moving fast. All the planets are direct, yes, but at the same sense, I'm like, okay, I'm getting this done. Okay, I'm doing that now. I'm doing this. Okay, now I have this and this. So now what I want to do with this, I'll do in a month. And that's how I'll put my little things I'll put them into that longer term, not longer 5 years, but the longer term. Okay, this is the idea I want with these two little ideas to come to fruition. I don't have a date for it, but that's my plan. So that'll go on another list. It keeps my ideas of how to make my small points into understandable moments to share. Do you understand? Does that make sense?
100%.
And it also is where you get that satisfaction of, look what I did, look what I did, look what I'm doing. And from that moment to the next, where you feel you want to put those ideas are gonna, culminate into their own little, beautiful little thing together. When you add into like, daily, when you start adding into little things like that, because things happen every day, so take note of it, and then work it in somehow, or see how you can do the next day different if you didn't like the way you responded to that. Write that down. Go shoot. Didn't like the way I like that. Didn't like the way I said it. My husband will say to me, he'll take a tiptoe, and I'm like, he's like, here, like, I don't want, I'm like, what are you doing? What? And he'll think that I was like aggravated. And I'm like, what made you feel that? I want to know so I can work on that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to, I know I can get
Right.
really serious,
What
very
triggered you?
Capricornian. Yeah. But I don't want you to look at me and go, oh my God, I can't go near her right now because she looks like that. Or it's like, I'm like, what am I giving out that is
Right.
making you respond in this way? And that's big to me. So that goes on a list. And I would like to revisit that, or just take note of it, of how I was, where I was when that kind of happened. Okay, that just happened, because it happened just a little while ago. And I was like, oh my God, I do not want to come across that way. But sometimes when I'm doing one other thing, we don't think about the other person that's over here. We can take a minute, fully listen, not react to it. And I did. I totally reacted. And I was like, because I was so hell bent on I was so Mercury struggle. Like I was so like into my thing that I didn't even give a minute to listen. It was a minute less than. I'm like, and it wasn't, I didn't do anything. It was just, I felt it. I know what he was talking about, but I don't want to do that. It's not that's not how I want to come across.
All right. So I think what I'm hearing you say is it could be a little chaotic
Towards the end of the week.
towards the
Yes.
end of the week.
The
Stand
beginning
in
of
your
the week, you have,
confidence.
yes. the
Don't say
of the week-
beginning.
No,
Just
not the
give it-
beginning. But from today, like from, starting, well, Monday with Mercury moving into the Pluto conjunct, I mean, moving into Aquarius conjuncting
Yeah.
Pluto, people are gonna start, you're gonna start noticing things. You're gonna start feeling different things. I mean, it may not be like a smack in the face. I mean, a lot of people may not. I think Mercury is going to have an effect on people today and coming up until like, you know, and Mercury, you get a 2 day, because it's like an orb, you know, you have a little bit of that'll be laying in the background. And then when everything comes through, I think just pay attention to how, whatever it is, whatever you're passionate about, really, really passionate about with that Pluto, or what you really want to get, like your power in your mind, whatever's in your mind that's really strong in your, you know, just how you try to get it out there. I would be careful. I would be mindful of.
Mindful.
Yeah, be mindful, you know, because you want to take other, everybody's in the same boat. So you are going to hit a power struggle if you
Yeah.
decide to come aggressively. If you try to come strong on someone, you're going to get, everyone's, like I said, everyone's in the same boat. This is not chart specific transit. Everyone's having it.
Collective.
It's a collective experience.
Yep.
And
We're all having a collective experience.
yeah, and everyone thinks they're, you know, there's better than, there's less than, and everyone's gonna think that, oh, not everyone, listen, I can't speak for everyone, but what the signature of this aspect is, your information needs to go out, and it's just, that's the way it is. That's right, and that's just eat it. You know what I mean? That's how it's supposed to be all the
Okay.
time. Very fixed. Like if you think of a fixed sign not being mutable, or like somebody that can't just go with the flow or just try to like take in ideas. That's kind of the feeling of the vibe of the beginning of the week, but it's a very information forward week. So you
Okay.
can use a lot of this, you know, but it's
I'm not,
coming towards the end, it may get a little chaotic because what I think happens, you know, you'll see what happens in the beginning of the week. Towards the end of the week, it's the trickle effect. You know, it's basically a trickle effect. So you see how whatever happened, and then however it played out, it's gonna kind of flavor the end of your day, end of your week.
okay.
You know? So try to not just I mean, try to keep it together, like try to keep it organized and in your world, you know.
So write it down.
Write it down.
Write it
That's
down.
it's
So
down.
it's funny, like
I go over talking.
in listening, talking, like last week, we were talking about we did our intros and everything like that. And when we did a live, you said embrace the change.
Mm,
You
mm.
know, so it's gonna be a little bit of change. And it was, and there was quite a few power struggles, like we talked about on Friday on our live. So
Mhm.
this week is write it down.
Write it down, right? See how you respond to them and see how you are, because this is gonna make you like this new whole, you know, 20 years, like you say, it's gonna make you, things are gonna be different and how anyone deals with anything, but it's, no one's, you're not gonna be familiar with
Yeah.
how to, have you ever sat in a situation going, oh my God, I don't even know how to react to this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've done that. I'm like, wait, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. And to bring in my history part,
Yeah.
the Americans, they weren't the Americans yet, the colonists, and George Washington signed that treaty. We weren't friends with the French before that.
See,
They had just we had just fought the French Native American War.
uh-huh.
It was very divided. Some were on the side of the British, some were on the side of very few were on the side of the natives,
Mhm,
so that was a really brand new, oh my gosh, are we getting in bed with the enemy?
mhm,
It
mhm,
happened to not be. It happened to be one of the great alliances. When we look back in history,
mhm,
the colonists and the French alliance, even to today, 250 years later,
mhm, mhm.
we're
So what are you
still,
feeling? I don't like, and they do talk about the, the Third World War or whatever, and yeah, that's a signature that those conjunction planets do have. I mean, but going
yeah,
back to what you
it's
just
rough.
said, you don't know, like we can see, and I heard this during the COVID, you know something's coming. You don't know what.
Yeah.
we don't know, we didn't know COVID. Everyone knew something big was going to happen, but we didn't realize it was going to be this COVID. So
Yeah.
in this same sense, but it also had its moments of, it worked out for a lot of people.
Yeah, I
You know what I mean?
became
There
a
was, I mean,
completely different person.
there's two sides to everything.
Yeah,
People, no matter which way. So with Pluto, it's not gonna, I don't look at just all the shadow sides. I feel that Pluto's gonna be strengthen maybe our community, hopefully in the better way, I mean, the collective, I'm sorry,
yeah.
community,
I think our
collective.
generation too, the Libra, you have Pluto and Libra, right? You're like
Uh,
10 degree, right? Or you're
what?
Virgo.
No, what? I have a Virgo moon.
No, Pluto.
Oh,
Where's Pluto in your
my
natal
Pluto
chart?
is in my, is in my third house of Virgo. Well, I use whole sign. Placidus, it swings into the fourth. But I do whole sign. It's in my third.
So our generation,
I was 70. I was
70s,
born in
70.
70.
Okay, so the 70s, that generation.
Mhm. I have Pluto.
I think we have a
I have
big,
Pluto at 27 degrees of Virgo, so it was probably
okay.
moving. So I might 5 years, like whatever.
You're in, I'll take you as Generation Xer. You're
Thank
you're
you.
that 5 degrees.
I'll take it. I'll take a few years off my.
You're not a boomer.
No.
But we have we have some heavy lifting with
Yeah.
Pluto, trining our natal Pluto. Like we are the generation that had our feet in both, I don't want to say houses, but we knew what it
Both
was like
spaces.
to only have one TV and
Right.
use the pliers to change it.
Right.
And
Right.
now, we got the screen on. My son's on a screen. I'm on a screen. My husband's on a screen.
Right.
The dogs have a screen. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like it's completely different. So we
Yes.
know what it's like. My son has no idea what it's like to have to walk up and change the channel.
No.
At one point when he was little, he walked up and tried to swipe the commercial.
No. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And there's a lot of that. Like a
I
lot of
saw
my
an
friends.
Ellen.
So
Yep.
like
Yeah.
we have a lot of heavy lifting, I think.
I do. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we'll have to definitely move forward towards, I mean, it's unfortunate they don't, how much is needed from our old school way, but the new school way is definitely is a curveball or a wrench thrown in the thing. But it was funny. To go back to what you said, I watched an Ellen episode and it was the poor girl. She was like, my parents are probably laughing. She gave her a yellow pages and a rotary phone, like one of the phone handhelds. She couldn't do it.
She didn't do it.
But
Yeah.
she didn't even know how to look up the number. And then when she was trying to get to the number, she kept kind of using both her fingers to get it all the way.
Right.
And it was funny, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like the same thing is everyone's laughing at us like but you go back, I can write my name in cursive. I can
Yeah.
write, it's like shorthand, it's like everyone, you don't have to do all that stuff now, but I really feel that at some point, that stuff comes in handy. I mean, it comes in handy.
Yeah.
But also,
We don't know how to ride a horse. I mean,
No,
200
no.
years ago, you grew up riding a horse.
Exactly.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So
Yeah. Well, now
I don't know how to do that.
and this is my new learning curve of my Gen Xers or whatever. I have
Yes.
to learn. I'm doing this.
Technology.
I have to
Yeah.
learn to go from paper to like interpreting it through words over social
Zoom.
Zoom. Remember that was Zoom? Remember Zoom? It was a rating. It was a show when I was a kid. They wore striped shirts. My friend was on it. I went to school with it. It was weird. But but yeah, I get what you're saying with it's interesting, but thank God it's a trine. Thank God it was a trine because
Yeah.
I mean it is, anything that helps will help.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna call you on can I call you at like 1:30? I have to actually get some work done.
Yeah, do it. We can do a live
And
later.
then we'll do a live this afternoon.
We'll do it later on this afternoon. Text me. I'm just gonna go shoot over and go have lunch with my mom. So just to give me at
That's
least a half
perfect.
hour, some heads up.
No. Yeah, I'll give you a half hour, probably 1:30,
Even more than
2-ish.
that.
Okay.
2-ish?
Yeah.
2.
Is that
All right.
is that good? 2,
Yes. And
2:33? Doesn't
yeah,
matter.
if it gets later, I'll text you and just say 2:33 or whatever. But
Perfect.
no, way before 4. So that's for sure.
Fine.
All
All
right.
right. I love you.
All right. Love you. Have a great
This is
day.
great. You too.
Thanks for watching, whoever's
Yes.
watching.
And
We
free
appreciate it.
reading. If you watch
Free-
till the end, you get a free reading.
Yes. Ah,
Bye, Astro
oh,
sisters.
bye.
See
Okay.
ya.
See ya.